With some huge names, as always, being banded around the halls of Stamford Bridge, we shoot kind of west today, looking over towards Stamford Bridge, and think about what is going on up front for Chelsea. Because, well, what is going up front for Chelsea? It doesn't seem like a lot right now. Even though they are hitting a good or a better vein of form under Poch, they still aren't the final article. They're still not the fully fledged thing. And there is a missing piece. And that missing piece is possibly Victor Osimhen, someone who I've seen live, who I can actually say, and I mean this, I don't mean this in hyperbole, I mean this for real, is one of the most striking players that I've seen play live in recent memory, for me at least. When I went to Naples, I saw him on the day when they were meant to win the title, and he was effective that day, but he wasn't effective enough to win the game. They drew. But boy, is he imposing when he's in there live. Boy, is he someone who, when he bursts through, he's tall, he's pacey, he's kind of gangly a little bit, but he's like, 3 of his paces are like 7 for another player, so he's absolutely huge. I love his hair, I love his demeanour, I love the way that he's dealt with everything in Naples, even though, there's been a lot of adversity about his identity, but also around him at the same time when it's not been the Spalletti era. So, I like him as a player. I want to see him in the Premier League. He seems like a Premier League star. He seems like an African star. He seems like the kind of player that you want at your club because he has identity. He has, a little bit of charisma. He has something about him. And I think he'd fit in quite well at Chelsea, even though, obviously, a Liverpool fan, I wouldn't want to see him go there. So, yeah, I wonder where everyone else sits around that. He is the kind of player that you can build an attack around. And they've had tall, imposing, impressive characters up front before. Poch has also had tall, imposing, impressive characters up front before. Harry Kane, Ricky Lambert, like others at PSG. He's been able to deal with, having someone up front that they can kind of build around. And that is what Poch kind of needs. Poch needs a bit more structure in the front of that attack. It's quite clear what they need. They need a guy who can finish. They need a repeatable structure that they can score goals with. Because guess what? They've got a whole load of talented players they can put around them in Cole Palmer and Nkunku and Jackson and all these different names. I'm not sure that they currently have the best structure up front, but I think they have the personnel that can fit into it. In the same way as I'm not sure they currently have the best structure in midfield, but I think they have the personnel to fit into it. And I think if they have one more piece of personnel at the back, they'll probably be good. Possibly 2 with a goalkeeper and a central defender, but you get what I'm saying. They're not far away from being that team. And I get it, some people are like, oh, they're 9th in the league at the moment, or things are X, Y, Z. Things click very quickly when you get a couple of leaders, when you get a couple of really good players, when you get a couple of people who go, I can build around you, other players fall into line. So let's not be so down about Chelsea. They've got the money. They've got the staff that they need to back up any striker. Why not bring him in? Well, it's because they have other options at the moment. People who've come through their academy or people who've come through their development system or people who they feel they were developing, and they're kind of stuck in a halfway house. Do you go for Broja or do you go for Gallagher in midfield or up front? Do you stick or twist on either of those guys? It's partially where you get caught when you have an academy like Chelsea's, where you spread your net far and wide in the sea, catch a whole load of people in, and you aren't quite sure what's quality and what isn't. Not that there isn't quality in there, because sure, they've let a lot of people who are young come through their academy and move on to bigger things. But because you don't have the time to wait on that, because you don't quite have the development tools, and because you're loaning them out, you're not keeping an eye on them, you're not necessarily putting 100% into them or 100% taken away, you kind of get into this point where it's like a halfway house. Where are we at with Broja? Can we sell him for a decent fee to another Premier League team? Probably, but will we regret that? We don't know. Can we sell him to Serie A for a decent fee? Probably, but will we regret that? We don't really know. We're caught in these areas of what is it that we can do at this point? Because we don't know our squad particularly well. Because guess what? We've changed managers all the time. We've changed ideas all the time. We've changed our own players around him. So is he going to be the best player within that if he doesn't have the supporting factors around him? Well, his movement hasn't been great. There have been times where he stopped, but it seems a bit like a Poch thing where it's like, could you be better at this? He was injured for most of the Potter period. He was injured for the beginning of the Poch period. He's coming back from an injury. Can he be better than this? I want him to be better than this. I want a young Albanian guy in London to be better than this. But things aren't going particularly well. And you feel like a bigger guy could come in, a big guy who's already proven himself. Even if it is a Vlahovic or someone like that, or an Osimhen or someone like that. But all these guys are going to cost serious cash. I mean, like serious money for Chelsea. And so you have to be sure about that, more sure than you are that Broja will just be in your team at some point. So, yeah, I'm interested in hearing more about Broja. Yes, I'm interested in Poch and what he can create at this team. I think he's got the capability to take them to the next level. And when you see other teams possibly stuttering or not doing what they need to do in Liverpool or in Arsenal around the City, like, City are that centerpiece who kind of everyone needs to sort of fit around or work out when they're going to be good or bad. You need to push Poch now. Because City are having their fallow season. City are having their time where they're not as good. So you need to make sure that you get in there and capitalise while the league looks a bit more competitive, should we say. While United are stuttering, while United aren't in the same market as you are, capitalise, get those players. Whilst Newcastle are stuttering, they can't spend the money, they can't do the same things, but you possibly can capitalise. Sell some of those players, make sure that it's you who has the possibility, at least, of getting ahead of everyone else. Because next season, that's not going to happen. Next season, Chelsea are going to be far behind everyone else if they don't capitalise now. And believe me, in not capitalising now, you set yourself 3-4 years back. Because there are going to be so many options in the market after this. There are going to be, like I just listed all the teams, and more. Villa are going to be back in the market. Brighton will be back in the market. Other people are going to be selling their strikers. Brentford are going to be back in the market. Who do you go for after that? Well, if you're Chelsea, you have to go for a big signing. You have to go for a big option. And it has to be now. Because if you don't go now, if you don't move like now, and I mean like move someone over there as quick as you can, I feel like Chelsea are going to drop back into that mediocrity. They don't have like that pull of a manager now that you sort of go, oh, I need to play for him. They have Poch, and he's fantastic. But there are so many other options now. There are so many other people who can come in and change a club within 2 minutes. And Poch hasn't done that at Chelsea, so there are going to be question marks over him. What you would need is a striker who is so confident in a Victor Osimhen or a Vlahovic or someone like that who's going to go, I'm going to make this team mine. I'm going to make them the thing that I need them to be in order to score goals. I'll play alongside Cole Palmer, Sterling, Nkunku, all these different guys, and I will make this team viable in the Premier League. Because guess what? If you don't go for Victor Osimhen now, if you don't secure his services now, which he seems to already be sure of, you won't secure them in the near future, and you will be reeling because there aren't that many top-class strikers who are this size, in this ilk. Haaland, Nunez, Vlahovic possibly, Victor Osimhen. There are other big names, sure. Højlund at a push. There are big other strikers, sure, but like there's no one up in that top stratosphere that is available. So, yeah. You should be going for them right now. You should be selling other players. You should be preparing for the summer, which is what Newcastle are trying to do, which is what other people are trying to do. Which, guess what? While Newcastle are out there looking for their strikers, they've already got Isak. He's excellent. He is in that ilk of striker, but you've not struck. Again, you've missed another opportunity. I feel like Arsenal are going to get someone else in the summer. I feel like Liverpool probably going to go for another right wing guy. There are options out there, but Chelsea just don't seem to be able to capitalise right now, and I don't get it. So, in this time, if you're a Chelsea fan, I want to know who you want. Who are the names? I see a few names thrown around, but really? You need a headline here. You need someone other people want to play with. You need someone that's going to make Chelsea Chelsea again. Because right now, they're kind of in between. And I get it. Being in between is all right for now. But next season, it's not. It's just true. No, it's plain. Look. Could that be Victor Osimhen?